So I walked 10K steps every day for 30 days, and the results were a bit unexpected. Hi, my name is Shyla. I'm a certified personal trainer, and I help women achieve their dream bodies without the burnout. In today's video, I'm going to cover why I started this 10K step challenge, how I made it work, working a 9-to-5, why I prefer walking over long cardio sessions. Of course, we're going to talk about the physical results and one surprising benefit that I wasn't expecting. I decided to start a 10K step challenge because truthfully, I was sick of my own shit. I was tired of breaking promises to myself, always having to negotiate in the moment when I've decided 2-3 days ago I was going to do something, and now it comes time to do it and I'm coming with every excuse in the book. I'm too tired. I had a long day at work. I have to cook. I have to clean, blah, 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 blah. And essentially, I was just training myself to break promises to myself. And of course, that affected my self-trust. That affected my confidence. And if you're anything like me, you thrive when you have a set routine. And once I fall off of that routine, I fall off so hard. So I decided that I needed something simple, something that I either did it or I didn't. The number is the number. There is no, oh, I kind of sort of hit 10K or, I got close. No, it was either 10,000 steps or nothing. I just wanted to be confident in myself again. I wanted to know that if I said I was going to do something, it was actually going to get done. And this challenge just made me realize that effort compounds. Another reason why I started this 10K step challenge is because I wanted some momentum. I knew once I became consistent with one habit, it was going to trickle over into other areas of my life. So I went into this challenge not necessarily wanting physical results, even though I knew they would come. I needed to prove to myself that I can be consistent. And something that I've realized after living 37 years here on earth is that motivation comes after the action. I think a lot of us believe that we have to wait until we're motivated and we have all this, energy to tackle our goals. But motivation is fleeting. On just motivation, you have to rely on discipline. You have to rely on your why. So a common question I would get whenever I would tell people that I was walking a minimum 10K steps a day, they would ask, how are you getting all those steps in while working a 9-to-5? Now, when I first started this challenge, I made the mistake of trying to get all my steps in at once. So for me, that took about an hour and 30 minutes. And at first, it was kind of fun. Like I was challenging myself, but after a while, I'd say after the first 3-4 days of doing that, I kind of got burnt out. And I realized that doing it all at once wasn't going to be sustainable. So I decided to just break it up throughout my day. I work 3 days at home and 2 days in office. Now, my in-office days is super easy for me to get my steps in because my building is located behind like a 8-mile river walk. So I get 2 15-minute breaks and 1 hour-long lunch break. So that's my hour and a half right there. Like I said, I'm able to break that up. I walk in the morning, I walk on my lunch, and then I walk on my last break. And by the time I get home, I'm usually around 14,000 steps easily. So when it comes to my work from home days, I have a bit more flexibility on how I can get my steps. So I can get my steps outdoors, I can go to the gym, or I can use my walking pad. I absolutely love my walking pad. I've had it for over a year now and it's still working. I'll link it in my in the description box below if you want to check it out. I believe it was less than $200 and it was honestly one of the best investments I've made. It's just super convenient. There were times that I would find it would be like 9-10 o'clock and I still have 1,000 or 2,000 steps left, and I could easily just plug in my walking pad, turn on a video on YouTube, and just get those steps out the way. My biggest tip for getting your steps in while working a 9-to-5, or maybe you're a full-time student, the key is to incorporate movement throughout your day. It just makes it way more manageable, and you don't feel like you're actually exercising. You're just moving your body. You're just cleaning your house, you're getting your steps. Gardening, you're getting your steps. Just pacing around your kitchen table or doing laps around your kitchen island. Like, you're getting your steps. Don't overcomplicate it. It doesn't have to be a strict hour and 30 minutes on the treadmill. You know, I started doing things that would ensure I would get extra steps. So instead of parking on, you know, the first floor of the parking garage, park on the 5th floor and don't use the elevator. Go ahead and use the stairs. There's so many ways to get more steps in throughout your day. And before you know it, you're gonna look and you're gonna be like, wow, I hit 10,000 steps. You can listen to affirmations, you can read a book, you can watch a YouTube video, you know, just romanticize that time. Okay, it's your time. Make it your own and have fun with it. The reason I prefer walking over long cardio sessions is simple. Walking doesn't spike my hunger cues the way a HIIT session would, you know, like sprints or even 15 minutes on the Stairmaster. Now, don't get me wrong, I still do cardio. I still do my sprints. I still do sessions on the Stairmaster. I do incline walking on the treadmill, all that good stuff, but they're never longer than like 15 minutes. When I first started my fitness journey, I was a cardio bunny. I was a cardio queen. You could not pay me to go into the weight area with all those men. Like, when I started my fitness journey, it was nothing like it is now. When you go into the gym and you see like a good mix of men and women in the weight section, no. It was strictly a boys club and I wanted no parts. So I kept my ass on the elliptical. I would be on there for like an hour at a time, and I would go home, and that was it. In my book, walking will always win over long cardio sessions because it's easier on your body. You're not spiking your cortisol levels. You're not spiking your hunger cues. It actually helps with recovery. I was hitting PRs. I was progressively overloading. I was training till failure. So obviously you would assume that recovery would, you know, tank a little bit. But because I was walking and I was getting that extra blood flow in my legs, and I was also stretching before and after my walks, I really believe that it helped me to recover and get back in the gym quicker. The way my workout split is set up, I have basically a day in between my leg days, and I was still able to hit legs on a Sunday and then rest Monday and then go back in on a Tuesday and hit legs again and not see a dip in my performance, or, you know, I was still able to progressively overload. Yeah, that was definitely a benefit of walking. It helped with my recovery from weightlifting. Another added benefit was stress management. I absolutely love walking, specifically on like my on-site days, because I get to walk outside and it's so beautiful out there. There's all these geese and there's seals and squirrels and just, you know, just nature, you know, and you get to just listen to the sounds, you hear the birds, and I really look forward to my walks on my on-site days. And, you know, I live in California, so more times than not, the weather is beautiful. Okay, so let's get into the physical results, because I'm pretty sure that's why you're here. What made you click on this video, right? Let's talk about the non-physical changes before we hop into the physical changes, because those were actually what surprised me the most. I wasn't expecting the increase in my endurance. For one, when I first started doing my 10K steps on my walking pad, I started at 2.8 miles per hour, and I was out of breath. My chest was burning. Like, I might as well had been. And then probably like 2 weeks into my challenge, I went up to 3.0, and then I went up to 3.2, and then I eventually was doing my steps at 4.0. Which is unnecessary. It's not zone 2 anymore once you increase the speed that high. But the fact that I could handle it, I can keep up with it. I wasn't struggling. I wasn't breathing hard. I can control my breath. I was able to do it. And I was also, during my 10K step challenge, I was training for a 5K. And I noticed that my endurance from walking translated to my endurance when it came to running and doing my sprints and stuff. Like my stamina was so much better. Like I mentioned earlier, walking definitely helped with my recovery from weightlifting. It helped with my soreness, you know, my DOMS or delayed onset muscle soreness. So essentially I just had better recovery, I had more energy, my mood was better. So let's talk about the physical changes. I was 170 pounds. For reference, I am 5'5". I think I'm really closer to 5'4" and some change, but I just round up. I'm 5'5", 170 pounds. And by the end of this challenge, I was 160 pounds. So I had lost 10 pounds. Obviously, some of that is water weight. But I believe a lot of it was fat. So the very first thing that I noticed was my stomach had gotten a bit flatter. I have more ab definition, my waist is smaller, and most importantly, I was able to preserve all of the muscle that I have built over the years. So just walking allowed me to burn more calories, and now I'm able to really see all of my hard work, and I'm just so proud of myself. I want you to feel what I'm feeling, honestly, just to be completely frank. I feel amazing in my body. I love what I see when I look in the mirror, and I truly just want that for all of my girls. I want every single woman watching this video to feel confident and comfortable and powerful in their own skin, which is why I created this channel in the first place. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah, this might be off topic, but make sure you are taking pictures, you're doing videos, you're doing your measurements, and not just strictly relying on the scale, because the scale will lie to you, okay? The scale will tell you that absolutely nothing is changing. Meanwhile, your clothes are telling you, hey, you actually did lose some inches or you did lose some fat. So make sure you do that. So in my humble opinion, walking is so underrated. And I think it's because when people start their fitness journey, I think it's very common for you to think that you have to go all in. You have to do 2-hour weightlifting sessions 5 times a week, and you have to hit your macros exactly. You have to get your protein in, and yes, all those things are true, but the intensity at which you do these things, they do not have to be at a level 10, okay? I lost 10 pounds and I was far from perfect. There were days where I was under eating. There was days where I overate. There were days where I didn't work out. There were days where I got less than 7 hours of sleep, but I still got my steps in. I still got those 10K steps in and was still able to see the progress that I truly wanted. And I hope that isn't lost on you. I really want you to internalize the fact that you do not have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent. I have a very addictive personality, and when I laser focus and latch on to something, I go all in. So when I first started tracking my macros, I would spend hours trying to come up with the perfect meal plan so that I can hit my macros exactly. I needed 160 grams of protein, exactly. I needed 200 grams of carbs, exactly. And no, you don't need that. And I feel like once you start hyperfixating and just overthinking every little thing, that's when you start leaning more to, the disordered eating and just dangerous territory that you don't need to be in. So just relax and know that the results are going to come if you are consistent. Okay, that's all you need. You need consistency and discipline, and you will get the results that you want. Now, if you are coming from an extremely sedentary lifestyle, I'm talking you find the closest parking spot possible, you're not taking the stairs, where's the elevator at? If you are that sedentary, please do not think you are going to complete 10,000 steps every single day for 30 days straight. You're setting yourself up for failure. You know that right now you walk maybe 2,000 steps a day. Your aim should be 5,000 steps, maybe 6. Don't make such huge leaps when you are looking to change something in your life. And that goes for anything. If you just got a gym membership, Your goal shouldn't be to be in the gym for all 7 days a week. No, start off slow. Maybe I'll do 2 to 3 full body workouts a week. I think for a beginner, aim for 3,000 to 5,000 steps and go from there. Like I said, don't overcomplicate it. You do not need to go straight into 10,000 steps immediately. Just work your way up. Walking works because most people can actually do it. That's it. There's really no barrier to entry. Do you have legs? Do you have a spot to walk? Then you're good to go. So glad I decided to do this challenge. And like I said, the momentum from it has definitely carried over into other areas of my life, like filming this YouTube video that a few months ago I was just too scared to do. And now here I am. So if you're looking for some discipline, you want to prove to yourself that you can be consistent, go ahead and do a challenge. It doesn't have to be a 10K step challenge, have to be a step challenge at all. I actually just started another challenge, which I am thinking about making a video about. So if you're interested, make sure you subscribe and stay tuned. And yeah, I am a full believer in challenges. I love them. I aspire to host one day soon, but the effectiveness and just the momentum and the confidence that has come out of completing this 30-day challenge has been amazing. And like I said, I feel so good and I'm ready for the summer. Really hope driven home how impactful walking can be. It's simple, it's boring, it's effective, and it doesn't cost anything. I know we are in an era of overconsumption. Even running has become like, you need a million things just to run. But with walking, you need your 2 legs. You need your lungs, and you can go on about your business and get your steps in. So just a quick recap of the benefits of walking 10K steps for me. I'm just looking at my notes really quick, but more calorie burn, better recovery, lower stress, and the fact that it is sustainable. I can do this every day for the rest of my life, God willing. The biggest surprise wasn't the fat loss. It was actually the confidence that I gained. I was able to keep a promise to myself for 30 days. I proved to myself that I can be consistent. I didn't let my mood dictate my plans. I did what I said I was going to do, and the results spoke for themselves. During this 30-day challenge, I was able to shift my identity from someone who is inconsistent and lacks discipline, doesn't keep promises to herself, to someone who follows through and does what she says she's going to do and doesn't allow my mood to dictate whether or not I follow through with my plans. And it's such a beautiful and empowering place to be in. The momentum I created during this challenge has definitely spilled over into other areas of my life, my coaching business, my 9-to-5, my marriage, my parenting, and also content creation. So did walking 10,000 steps every day get me the physique that I currently have? No. But did it help? Absolutely. I had never had a step count before, like a goal for a step count before. This year was the first time I've ever done it. And it really made me realize just how sedentary I am. I thought just because I was going to the gym for an hour a day or doing Pilates or blah, 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 that I was active. But the truth is, if you're only working out 1 hour out of your whole day, that's only like 1% of your day. And that's not going to get you the body of your dreams. You have to move. That's it. Move your body. I'm not saying it has to be an intense 30-minute workout. I'm not saying you have to do 10,000 steps. But what I am saying is you need to find ways to burn calories. Okay? You should be burning more calories than you are consuming if your goal is to lose fat. Simple. Okay. Walking for me was that missing puzzle piece. It allowed me to go from, a relatively sedentary lifestyle to being active. And once I started walking, I was like, you know what, now I actually want to try to run. And now that I'm running, I've been more consistent with Pilates because I find that Pilates helps with my lifts as well as my recovery too. So, but that's for another video. My final bit of advice for you, if you are someone who is thinking about adding a step goal to your fitness journey, I would say start where you are, stay consistent, let the results compound, okay? I think a lot of us stop right before it gets good. You know what I mean? Right before we start to see the changes that we're looking for. I think especially if you are someone who is doing like a body recomposition, which I currently am, it can be discouraging if you are using like the scale as a metric. That's why like early in the video, I said, make sure you're taking progress pictures, you're doing videos, you're taking your measurements, because you're going to feel the changes first before you physically see them. Hope this video has encouraged you to create your own step count goal. If you currently have a step count, what is it? I'm curious to know. If this video resonated with you, please go ahead and leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.